Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's been a little while since we've done welding content. What I wanted to talk about today is one of the really nice things, one of my favorite things that I've added here to my welding shop. I just wanted to do a little review on it and basically tell you why I probably would not own a MIG welder without it. I actually have two little Chicago electric welding carts, and I'll talk about both of them here in this video. So the main product that this video is about is the Chicago electric welding cabinet. So it's a welding cabinet because we have 3 drawers here on the front, as well as a cubby down there, which I hardly ever use because I don't like bending down and digging in there. This is kind of what we're reviewing, but it's also a discussion of just something I basically wouldn't want to have a small little DIY welding shop without. And it's this cabinet and that little welding cart over there that my plasma cutter is sitting on. So the point is, I basically view this as a complete necessity for a small DIY welding shop. At least one of these two things that I'm showing you. Let's just start off with price real quick. I'm seeing that this is on sale right now in March 2024 for like 170 bucks. And right now it's under the Chicago Electric Welding brand. And this little tool cart over here is coming in at like 40 bucks right now. So I saw a normal price on this was 180. So pretty big price difference. If you're trying to decide if you want to pick up one of these products or something, you want to pick up potentially for this or whatever your reason is here for the review, you'll have to decide for yourself if the extra money is worth being spent on this. But I will just say I've owned these things for, I think that welding cart I've owned for maybe a year or more than I've owned this one. They've been around for at least half a decade, I'm pretty confident in saying. So that just gives you an idea of how long I've owned them. So here's why I would absolutely recommend picking one of these up for your DIY welding shop, and that's just this gas tank carrier back here. You have chains that hold the gas cylinder to the welding cart, keeping it from falling off. You can't knock it over, won't slide out. Definitely need those for safety. I'm sure many of us have seen the Mythbusters where they turn those things into essentially torpedoes. I think it's pretty hard to do, but I think it's definitely possible. These things come easily charged up to 2,500 PSI. I think they can come as high as 3,000 PSI. So really important to keep them secure, but also important just to keep it right there next to the welding machine as well. You're gonna want to have that thing right there anytime you do any MIG welding. So this is the main reason why I absolutely think these things are a necessity. Obviously you can just set this next to some kind of table, set your welder on the table and just weld from there. But even in this little 8x20 shipping container, I find myself wheeling this thing around a little bit, moving it around. If I had a really large shop, especially with shorter leads, I would absolutely want a cart to move this stuff around on. So the cabinet here will definitely hold a larger machine than I've got on it. You can see there's, maybe 2.5, 3 inches there on maybe both sides to fit a larger machine. Any welding machine that I've owned, like I said, DIY welder, I've had a lot of machines at this point from, through YouTube and everything, and pretty much everything's fit on here very nicely. All your standard basic welding machines are gonna fit real nice. There is this handlebar that you maybe have noticed back here. It normally is held on by these 2 screws. If I remember right, it kind of got in the way of these these leads here, at least on this particular machine. One of the nicest things about this cabinet is these drawers. So I did wind up picking up one of the 44-inch US General Series 3 toolboxes, just the top, for like 100 bucks, brand new in the store. I intend to eventually situate it a little bit differently than that, but basically this is my welding tool cabinet. That's the idea. I'm going to keep all my welding wire, gloves, all that stuff in there. Basically clamps, anything welding related is going to stay in that tool cabinet. So these aren't necessarily as useful anymore. However, there are some things that I definitely want to just keep right here on hand. I just keep some gloves, obviously, my welding cap in there, things like that. I have all these different consumables. This is my consumable hardware kit. Anything for the plasma cutter and the MIG welder goes in there, and that's all my consumable stuff. I used to keep a pair of wire feed welding pliers in here and a bunch of writing utensils. Obviously, I have a few things in there. This thickness gauge, I've got some wire in there for right now. Obviously, one of the things I don't love is these cables are often in the way of those, which is part of the reason why I'm wanting to move on to that. If this is all you're gonna get, which is really all you need, you're gonna be able to keep mostly everything, just the basic essentials in there. You can keep a mask down in here, a welding hood, other larger items. I feel like we'd just be better off with, you know, like one large drawer down there, something you can pull out, because every time I've had to reach down in there, I just decide to not store anything in there. So this is not my favorite feature. Harbor Freight has an upgraded version of these things already. They have one on the Vulcan brand, and it's a much larger cabinet that you can keep, like, I don't know, 2 large machines or 3 smaller machines on. It has these nice hooks on the side that keep, you know, all the cords and stuff out of the way, nice and organized. Really just totally an essential tool, you know, whatever version you get. And like I said, I think sitting there right about $180, $190 right now. Which brings me to this guy. If you can find yourself a good cheap toolbox, and you know, they could be had from anywhere, just like that thing, any store, used on marketplace, whatever. I would probably go that route. If you've got the room for it, the space for it, the money for it, whatever, I would probably go that route. For my welding machines, I'd go with one of these. Now I know that a lot of people like to build their own welding carts. If that's what you're into, sure, whatever, man. Go ahead and do it. For me, it was basically cheap enough. I think these things were like 25, 30 bucks back when I bought them. You could get them for like $25 on sale. Really nice little welding carts, not really flimsy. Any wiggle in it is just the wheels down there. Unless your machine's not gonna fit on there, which this space is gonna be about as wide as this space. This is all you need. This little $40 little cart, you know, it rolls around nice and smooth, nice and easy. Has basically roughly the same size casters and everything. Definitely a little bit smaller, but it also does have your MIG gas tank holder there on the back with chains. I just haven't needed it because I keep a plasma cutter on here. Really getting to the point here, as much as I like that cabinet, I would rather have, for the money, you know, 180, 190 bucks versus $40. This is gonna do everything you need. You're gonna be more happy having one of those than having to fight the cables on these cabinets and having that wasted drawer. Almost, I feel like it's almost wasted versus picking up this little $40 cart. And I actually, the way I ended up with this is I went in to buy one of these to my local Harbor Freight, and they were out of stock on them. Their website, I think, even said they had one in stock. So I kind of told the guy, I drove 30 minutes up here to pick this thing up, said it had one in stock. Can you look in the back? They went and looked in the back for me. And Harbor Freight, as usual, always taking care of their customers, especially if you're polite to them and everything. Treat them well, treat them like they're human beings. I think he gave me this thing for full retail price, which back then was like $140, I think, minus the price of that or something like that. So I ended up getting it for like $100. And to me, this for $100 versus that, I would almost prefer this and $100 to that. But the price difference now, I would get this little cart every day, and it's all you're really gonna need. But either way, no matter what brand you go with, Harbor Freight or not, you know, cabinet or cart, whatever it is, these things are absolutely indispensable and necessary, in my opinion, in any DIY welder shop. Good little welding accessories to have to keep things organized and make it real nice and easy to move a welding machine around the shop. So thanks everybody for watching. If you liked the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, go down and click subscribe. And let me know in the comments below which one you think you'd pick up and your experience with these, if you have them, and what your opinion is on whether or not they really are necessarily a little welding shop accessory. Again, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.